All right, guys. I made a video last week, and during this whole dump, the whole Iran-Israel war dump, I thought we might go down to like $100,000 Bitcoin. I was ready to buy. I was all ready to buy some of these alts. I was gonna buy some more Cardano. I was actually gonna buy some Ethereum. I was hoping Ethereum would go down to like maybe 22, 21, maybe even back down to 2,000. Apparently, I fell asleep. Bitcoin went from like 104 to 102. Now we're back up to 107. So I didn't get my buy level. Hey, maybe I'll still get it. Maybe there'll be some more war activity. But Bitcoin really bounced hard. I'm not really sure why. Why? I am sure why. Throw the baby out with the bathwater, which happens every single time. There's no real news other than, it does look like Israel's taken out a lot of Iran's nuclear capabilities, and it's kind of showing that Iran did fire back, but Iran's just not able to cause all that much damage. It's a very weak country. So I think people are kind of seeing that, okay, Israel took out their nuclear capabilities and Iran's kind of weak, so let's just start pumping the markets again. So now you got Bitcoin up, you got risk assets up, you got stocks up. That's why you just can't get scared away. Even a major war can't kill this bull run, right? That's one positive way to look at it. Your altcoins coming back pretty good. They did get hit very, very hard. So I know I said I didn't get my buy levels. It's still a great time to buy altcoins. I mean, it really is. You got XRP at 228. XRP really didn't even dump all that much. So really, it's not a bad time to get into some of these altcoins if you don't have any. I don't think it's going to last. I think this summer is going to be extremely bullish for altcoins. I've been saying it for a long time. I know we're in June. I know it has to happen in the next couple months. I know if it doesn't happen, I'm going to look like an idiot. But hey, look, it's crypto. You know, that's kind of the way it goes. All right, so let's see what else is going on. Looks like everybody's talking about $112,000 Bitcoin right now. $112,000 Bitcoin was not bull market peak. Things to know in Bitcoin this week. So I guess people are talking about a double top. Is Bitcoin going to hit $112,000 again? And then that's going to be the catalyst to take us back into the bull market. That's one way. That's one way people are thinking. And of course, the other way, we hit 112, we blow past it, we get 120, 130, 140, maybe 150. Some people are talking about 200. I don't think we're getting that high. What do I think is going to happen? I don't think 112 was the top. It's possible. This has been a really weird market. And if Bitcoin does hit 112, I mean, that's still a pretty good gain for Bitcoin. Was it like a double? And almost a double its previous all-time high. And we do know there's diminishing returns with Bitcoin every cycle. So it wouldn't surprise me if Bitcoin did 112, hung out there, and then it just dumps down to oblivion. I mean, nothing will surprise me in these markets. That's not what I'm betting on. If I was betting on that, I'd probably be out of the markets right now. I think we're probably minimally going to get like $130,000, $140,000 Bitcoin. I think it's going to take us a while to get there. I think we're going to hit 120, and then it's going to be a slow crawl up in the summer. And I think altcoins are going to get into that next phase, which we've been talking about for a long time. We got the first phase, right? We had all the altcoins pumping, blah, 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 and then they all dumped. That's where we are right now. And then I think we're going to get that second phase very, very soon. But other than that, there's not too much craziness going on in the market. You got Michael Saylor buying more Bitcoin. Let's see here. Yeah, there's not a lot. A lot of times I go on Cointelegraph and it's just like BS articles that really don't mean anything. And that kind of means there's not too much going on. I found a little bit of Cardano news. Cardano's kind of, Cardano's big rival used to be XRP, but it looks like they're kind of on the XRP bandwagon, which is good. Because Cardano, I do think for a long time, Cardano and XRP, their prices were the same. It was XRP is 50 cents, Cardano is 50 cents. They would just follow each other. And then XRP just took off. And I feel like Cardano price-wise is going to do exactly what XRP did. It's going to take off and get to that $2 mark, $3 mark relatively easy. I think once we go into alt season, Cardano getting to $2, $3 is going to be easy. Anything more than that, I think is going to be really difficult, which is why I'm probably going to be out by that point. Charles Hoskinson reveals XRP and RLUSD integration on Cardano. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson was responding to a community question about whether Ripple's new stablecoin, RLUSD would be available on Cardano network. And while he didn't offer a launch date, his answer pointed to something much bigger than RLUSD. There's from Twitter. There's a whole lot of XRP package with this Glacier drop, Lace Wallet, XRP, DeFi, and the real USD talks. So what's he talking about? Like his own stablecoin? According to Hoskinson, a full XRP package is being worked on. This includes integration of XRP into Cardano's DeFi layer, support for the official Lace wallet, discussion around real USD, and something he called a Glacier drop. There wasn't a confirmed timeline, but he made it clear that serious talks are already happening. His comments came as users started speculating about the potential for RLUSD to be part of Cardano growth. Yeah, I think Charles Hoskinson kind of did the smart thing, giving up this feud with Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse. It was kind of pointless, especially now that XRP's done so well. You might as well jump on the XRP bandwagon, Charles Hoskinson, because Cardano is going to need something. So, yeah, and like I said, their prices are going to catch up. I wouldn't be surprised if this time a month from now you got like a $2.50 XRP and a $2 Cardano. I think they're going to be kind of going hand in hand. I could be wrong though. Who freaking knows? It's all a guess. Haven't talked about Theta in a while. I'm really not talking about a lot of coins lately, like specific coins, because it really just depends on the market. It doesn't matter like what your coin does or what's going on in the background, because if the market's not doing well, if we're in war and the stock market's dumping and Bitcoin's dumping, I don't care if Theta or Cardano, discover a cure for like AIDS or something like that. It just doesn't matter. It's like, we got to have good market conditions first. And now that market conditions are coming back a little bit, we can start talking about individual coins. Somebody was saying I haven't talked about Theta in a while. Like, I hold a lot of Theta, and I think Theta is going to do extremely well. There was a Q&A, I think, that came out last week or a week ago with Mitch Liu and that other guy, the white guy. I forget his name. Wes, I think is his name, and it was really interesting. I also saw that Theta is also available for trading and withdrawals on Crypto.com. Now, I think Crypto.com is a U.S.-based, for all U.S. users. That's really, really big, guys. One of the biggest problems I always had with Theta, when I was always in Theta, I couldn't trade it on any U.S.-based exchange. And then finally, it was available on Binance.us, this was the last bull market. But then Binance US got taken over by the government pretty much, and you couldn't do anything on it. And everybody got off Binance.us. And then basically there was nowhere else to trade it in the USA except for maybe you could use KuCoin, but then KuCoin got rid of everybody. I think there's one other exchange now that has Theta in the USA, but we need more US based exchanges. So when we do go into that alt season, if a US user can't easily just join an exchange like Coinbase or whatever, they're not going to be able to trade Theta. So, and maybe Theta is even available on Coinbase right now. I don't think it is. But my point is, the more US based exchanges, the better. And it looks like Crypto.com is advertised. This just happened on June 12th, that you can now trade for US based people on Crypto.com. And as far as everything going on behind the scenes with Theta, I'm not going to go. The thing with Theta is it's kind of like reading computer code, like what's going on behind the scenes. It's like, I don't understand. I don't understand how the iPhone works. I don't understand how my PC really works, or the Sprint network or the cell phone network. But I know the people behind it are really, really smart. And that's all I really care about. I basically, with Theta, I see Mitch Liu went to MIT. I see Wes is an Ivy League guy. I see it's all smart people. I see they got YouTube connections. I see they got big money behind them. I see they're San Francisco based. And I see all these things, and I say, okay, I'm going to leave it up to you to run the company and make me rich. Because I really don't understand any of this stuff. I barely made it through high school. But you are seeing Theta on more and more exchanges. Theta's cheap right now, guys, under $1. Great time to be buying Theta. I think Theta is going to outperform Cardano. It's just not going to happen until we go into full-blown alt season. And there is more of a risk with a lower cap coin versus something like Cardano, just because lower cap coins tend to pump harder, but they also tend to dump harder. So we also have to remember that as well. But we really need decent market conditions. And right now it's all about this war. So Trump is trying to come out and do some negotiations. So I think this whole war is going to kind of fizzle out in the next couple of weeks. And I think At that point, we should see us going into alt season, but who freaking knows? Like, everything's been so volatile. There's been so much crap happening over the last few months. It's like, it's hard to even predict. But am I worried about this war, this Iran-Israel war? I was never worried about it. I always, look, I don't want to like get too political and like whatever. I'm not a big Israel fan because the way I see Israel, and I know this is kind of controversial, I live around a lot of Orthodox Jews. They don't really like America all that much. They just like that America gives them money. And all the Orthodox Jews I live around in Maryland, they don't even like living in America. They basically just go to Israel every summer. They take all the money they make here and they send it to Israel. But the positive thing is they don't bother anybody. They just mind their own business and they leave you alone. The Muslims, on the other hand, they don't leave you alone. Like, they basically just trash everything. They have weird customs. They basically go around anybody who's not Muslim. They pretty much just want dead. And it even says that in the Quran. They have no problems raping and pillaging, and they won't even assimilate a little bit. Like, a Jewish person will like assimilate a little bit. Like, though, at least like you might see a Jewish person, like an Orthodox Jewish person, like at a sports game or an Orioles game or something like that. You might be able to hang out with them, but the Muslims, the fundamental Muslims that you see in the United States, they won't hang out with anybody. They hate you. They don't want to be here. They're only here to make money. They send all the money back to their country, and if they could push a button and basically have you dead, they would push that button. So while I don't like both are annoying, the Jewish and the Muslim, I'd much rather be on the Jewish side because they're really not going to bother anybody. So, and you're seeing that with this war. The Jews are just way smarter than the Muslims, and they're clobbering Iran. Iran is like, they're all kind of like, like the way I see Iran is kind of like if you go into like a really bad neighborhood of Baltimore City, they're all talk. Like, I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to kick your ass, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the police get there, they all get their ass kicked and they go to jail. Like, that's kind of how I see Iran. They're dumb. In my opinion, they'll never get a nuclear weapon because they're too dumb. I know. Apparently, their enrichment has been really, really high lately, and there's worried about them getting a nuclear weapon. But I think they're way too dumb to get a nuclear weapon over there. To me, they're kind of like cavemen. So you're seeing Iran get annihilated right now. The government is getting annihilated. They might even lose the whole Iranian government over this. Like, Israel's taken out like half the people, like, in their government. So, once people see there's no threat from Iran and Saudi Arabia, like all these other Middle Eastern countries, they could care less about Iran either. So once Iran is like basically squandered and there's no risk of them ever getting a nuclear weapon and we don't have to hear about it anymore, I think the markets are going to take off. Then this whole thing's going to die down, and then you're just not going to hear anything from the Jews and Israel for another couple years until something else happens. That's the way I see it. But I don't want America involved in this at all, because all it does is it just means we're going to get like another 9/11. Some crazy Muslim is going to get pissed off that we were involved with Iran, with taking out the dictator in Iran. Then next thing you know, they're bombing shit in the United States, and we got to deal with that. So that Trump is smart to say that he's not involved with it. Very, very smart for Trump to say that, and just let the Israelis take most of the heat. And I think that's kind of what it's looking like. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Bitcoin, we might be at 108, 109 pretty soon, and we're so close to all-time highs for Bitcoin. Like, it could happen at any day. But the problem is every time we get close, some weird event happens, and then we pretty much dump. Good news is we've held up over 102. Even with the Iran, which was like the biggest black swan we've had in 6 months, Bitcoin only went down to 102, 103. We're in a bull market, guys. We just got to get this freaking alt season started. I know a lot of people are about to give up. Where's alt season? I'm not giving up. Like I said, I'm holding this shit to the end of the year, most likely, October, November. If nothing's happening by then, I'll just take my losses. But I think in the next month or two, we're going to be in full-blown alt season. All I want to see is Cardano get back over $1, because that, to me, that's like a mental thing to me. Okay, we're in alt season. Until Cardano gets over $1, in my opinion, we're not in alt season. But in order for that to happen, Bitcoin's going to have to pump. Ethereum's probably going to have to get over like 3,300, 3,400, and then the other altcoins are going to follow. All right, guys, like and subscribe. Talk to you later.